Rivals such as Apple, Walt Disney, and HBO have begun to chip away at Netflix's dominance with their own streaming services. And rising inflation is making families reconsider how many different streaming services they're willing to pay for. Yeah, it's interesting. Oftentimes we look at like the price of something. We say, well, this is cheap or this is expensive. And if it's cheap, we think, it's cheap. Why not buy it? But I mean, what if there are a lot of cheap things that you're buying cheap things, right? That amounts to a significant amount of money in the aggregate, right? So even though you might be thinking, it's just $10, people would definitely be willing to pay for that. Not necessarily, right? Especially when you have competitors offering free products. So like the Apple, I forget what it's called again, the Apple movie or uh, the Apple, what's it called? Let's figure out what it's called. I should have it here. Apple, it's not Apple Pay. That's how you pay. But Apple, I can't find it. I have so many apps. But the Apple app that allows you to watch movie content and series content, they actually offered it to me a couple years ago for a year, like 12 months free of charge. So, I mean, if we have limited time, all of us, right? Um, right. The question is, do you really need both Netflix and this Apple content when there's good material on both, and Apple's giving you like a free 12-month, uh, membership, right? Maybe you need both, but maybe a lot of subscribers were like, maybe I don't. Maybe I'll just take the free one, right? Excellent. Netflix. Let's look at this. Rivals, by the way. Rivals are, two groups that are going or competing against one another. Chip away. Rising inflation. To reconsider streaming services. Good. Here, willing to pay for, right? A lot of people are like, why for? This is just a phrasal verb. We have to use pay for. To pay, willing to pay what? To pay for, right? Excellent. Netflix is hoping to counter the loss by taking steps it has previously resisted, including bringing advertising to the service and blocking the sharing of accounts. The first part I already made mention of. The second part is quite interesting, and it's a point that I'd made previously with friends and family that it's kind of insane that like paying $10 or $12 or whatever you pay, depending on where in the world you're located, allows you to use the the service on up to four devices. And to the best of my knowledge, I don't think they actually look necessarily at the IPN, like where those devices are. So you might have like a deal with three other friends, and you'll just split the $10 charge amongst the four of you. So yeah, that might be an area that they might want to look into, right? Um, Good. For years, the company has looked the other way at the not so secret practice of subscribers sharing passwords beyond their households, and it estimates about 100 million households worldwide are streaming for free. I didn't make mention of this before, but I try not to look at these articles in advance. I like to look at them in real time with you guys, and just so you get a fresh perspective immediately. Nothing is kind of planned ahead or scripted, right? Um, just how Netflix will stop this and encourage more people to pay for their own accounts is unclear, but co CEO Reed Hastings indicated that the company probably will spend the next year assessing different options. So they're in a little bit of a bind, or they're in a tricky situation whereby a lot of people know they're getting like free content, and they know that maybe what they're doing isn't, on the up and up. But when you then tell them like, hey, you kind of have to get your own account, they might become defensive, and this might actually have some blowback, right? Where like Netflix is actually right, maybe asking people to pay their fair share, but then people get upset because it's how dare you, right? So yeah, they really do have to look into that. Good. Uh, And although Hastings has spoken strongly in the past about keeping Netflix ad-free, the company is counting on introducing some form of advertising to help increase its profits. I made mention of this earlier. I don't see any way around that. This is just my perspective. Maybe subsequent to the conflict in Ukraine, maybe I think a lot of people are talking about recession and this consumer confidence probably has taken a hit, and people are concerned about spending their disposable income. Maybe they're thinking about saving more and not spending on what they might deem as being less on the priority scale. I don't know. I think advertising might be the way to go. Good. Netflix is also trying to give people another reason to subscribe by adding video games at no extra cost, a feature that was first introduced in 2021. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of not a proponent of like mixing too many things together, right? Just like this is, for example, this is a teaching channel, right? I focus on English, but if I were then to kind of focus on providing you with video game kind of information, I don't know. Even though it might be really value added, it's kind of mixing things a bit too much. It can be done, but it's sort of like a cake. Too many ingredients are too many. Too many ingredients is too many, and but if you have just the right amount of each ingredient and everything's mixed properly, maybe just maybe it will work, right? We'll see how that turns out. Good. So let's answer these discussion questions, shall we? What are your thoughts on Netflix's subscriber loss? Well, guys, what are your thoughts? Mine revolve around the fact that it's possible that this is just a blip, right? And maybe in subsequent quarters things will get better. Subscriber numbers will resume an upward trajectory. Who knows? If we're heading towards a recession, chances are when we find out we're in a recession, that means we've already been in a recession, right? Which is what? 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth, right? I don't know. Maybe it won't recover in the next quarter, or even 2 quarters. And that's not to mention competition, right? I mean, everybody sees how much money Netflix is making. People don't just sit around and go, "Oh, they're making even more money and even more money," right? They're thinking, how can I get a piece of the action, right? So the verdict is out as to what will happen in the future with Netflix as a result of its subscriber loss in the present. Do you use Netflix? Have you tried many other streaming services? I've mentioned this scores of times. Nobody says that. Score means 20. Many times, I should say. And yes, I do have Netflix. Have you tried many other streaming services? The Apple one, whose name again escapes me. I'm sure it's something very simple. It's almost like forgetting my name. What's my name? And Amazon Prime, right, as well. I think they're all good. They all provide unique content. Do you know many people who share their Netflix accounts? I plead the fifth, right? Pleading the fifth in the United States, it's a how should I say? It's a right offered to a defendant, just to anybody, in the court of law, where you don't have to say anything that could theoretically incriminate you. So by virtue of the fact that I'm pleading the fifth, maybe you're going to think I was going to incriminate myself. But no, I mean, do I know people who have shared this Netflix accounts? I think I'd be lying if I said I didn't. Good. And I think, not lastly, do you find it surprising that about 100 million households worldwide are using Netflix for free? Definitely not. I often say if you make something super easy to do, even people who are kind of morally sound, uh, they might find it too tempting not to take advantage of the loophole, and probably be more likely than not uh, able to kind of convince themselves that, oh, you made it so easy that perhaps this is what you actually wanted us to do, right? Even though but it's possible. And do you expect Netflix to maintain its dominance in the video streaming industry for years to come? Again, the verdict is out on that. You've already, heard my perspective, or I've given my 2 cents, if you will. 2 cents. That means my little bit of my little, I guess my small, no, my little perspective. Um, I think it's risky, right? They have a good, uh, how should I say, product, right? Movies, series. I often say stick with it. Then again, you sometimes like see Ferrari. I think Ferrari sells watches as well. It's like, I don't know. I was one of those guys who was like, I don't know if that's a good idea, but my understanding is it's quite successful. The Ferrari watch, uh, revenue stream. So what do I know? Um, would it attract younger people? More younger? Yeah. I mean, I imagine the same people who who use Netflix, uh, would probably be kind of willing initially, I guess, to use it to play video games. But who knows? Only time will tell, right? Only time will tell, right? We have to wait, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. The goal here is for these episodes to get better and better and better. I'm going to start investing in maybe perhaps better sound equipment. I'd love to hear your suggestions about how I could improve this channel. And as always, if you have questions about this article, be it pertaining to vocabulary, or sentence structures, or phrasal verbs that might have been used, or even idioms, or anything related to this article, please feel free to ask me the question down in the comments section. And I promise you, I will respond to everything within 24 hours, right? Or less. And please be sure to click on like and subscribe if you like this channel. As I've mentioned before, every single day I will be providing new content. Take care. Bye.